Community. Community is one of those words that gets used often and felt rarely. It shows up on websites and mission statements. It's written into values and printed on banners. People say it proudly as if naming it makes it real. But if you've ever truly belonged somewhere, you know the difference between a place that talks about community and one that actually lives it. I've been part of both. There was a place I was in that spoke about community constantly. It was part of their language, their identity, their brand. They were good at saying they cared about people, but in practice, something was missing. When things were hard, when someone was struggling, when life became complicated, the warmth seemed to fade. The support became conditional. You could feel that being okay was easier than being real. It wasn't unkind, it just wasn't safe. Then there was another place that hardly used the word community at all. They didn't announce their values. They didn't make a show of how connected they were. But everywhere you looked, people were quietly showing up for one another. Needs were noticed. Stories were held. There was a steadiness in how people were treated, especially when things weren't going well. Care wasn't something you had to earn. It was simply how the place operated. And you could feel it. That's the thing about real community. You don't have to be told it exists. Your nervous system knows. Community at its core is not a structure. It's a way of being with each other. It's how people respond when someone is struggling. It's how difference is handled. It's whether you feel safer after you speak or smaller. A place can be busy, friendly, and full of people and still not be a true community. And another can be quiet, unassuming, and deeply connective without ever naming itself as such. Real community shows up in small, ordinary moments. It's the way when someone notices you're quieter than usual. It's the way help is offered without being made into a spectacle. It's in how people stay when things get uncomfortable. It's in the absence of judgment and the presence of curiosity. It doesn't rush toward you being okay. It gives you room to be where you are. In places where community is only a word, you feel pressure to perform, to stay positive, to fit the tone, to manage your own mess quietly so it doesn't disrupt the group. There's often warmth, but it's surface warmth. The deeper parts of you sense there's a line you shouldn't cross. And so you stay careful. You share just enough to belong, but not enough to be known. In places where community is lived, something different happens. You don't have to earn your right to be human. You don't have to be polished. There's space for grief, confusion, anger, and joy, all held with the same steadiness. When something is hard, it's not treated as a failure of character. It's treated as part of being alive. That kind of environment changes people. It doesn't fix them. It doesn't instruct them. It simply allows them to be more fully themselves. And that allowance is rare. Many of us have been in spaces that promised connection and delivered something thinner. We've been part of groups that looked close on the outside but felt lonely on the inside. We've been told we belong while quietly feeling like we're on the edge. Those experiences leave a mark. They can make us cautious. They can make us doubt our own sense of what feels safe. They can teach us to settle for proximity instead of connection. But once you've been in a place where care is real, you never quite forget it. You remember what it felt like to exhale, to not have to explain yourself, to not have to hide the parts of you that are tired, tender, or unsure. That memory becomes a kind of internal compass. It helps you recognize when something is off, even if you can't name why. It reminds you the connection can feel different than what you've known. Community isn't built through declarations. It's built through consistency, through how people are treated when there's nothing to gain, through whether someone's pain is met with presence or discomfort. It's easy to say you value people. It's harder to show it when they're inconvenient, emotional, or hurting. That's where the truth lives. If you're someone who longs for community, you're not asking for something unrealistic. You're remembering something your body knows is possible. Humans are wired for connection. Not just proximity, but attuned, respectful, grounded connection. And if you've been disappointed by places that promised community and didn't deliver it, that disappointment makes sense. It isn't cynicism, it's discernment. You've seen what's real. At Hold, we think of community in a very simple way. It isn't about gathering people into a group. It's about offering a kind of presence that says, you don't have to hold this alone. Sometimes community is one person, one steady space, one place where you can be honest without being managed. That's often where it begins. You don't need a crowd to feel connected. You need somewhere where your humanity is welcome. And when you find that, even in small ways, it changes how everything else feels. Because real community doesn't ask you to perform. It lets you belong.